Is it time for a leap of faith? Where you're at in life, you know is not for you. Maybe it was at one point, but it's not anymore. You want to grow. There's something else out there for you. You know there is. How do you get it? How do you take that leap of faith? Hello and welcome to Meditate with Victoria. Every Sunday I give spiritual guidance to fill your cup up with for the week ahead. Number 1, how do you know it's time to take that leap of faith? Because everything in your life that you're trying to do, that you've been doing, is not working. It doesn't feel good anymore. It doesn't feel right. It makes you feel trapped or suffocated almost, low energy. That's not what the divine wants for you. And there's something in your mind that lights you up. And every time you think about it and you think of your life, if you had that, if you lived in this place, if you had this business, every time it lights you up. And you think, only if I could do this. But you have all these thoughts in your head that are stopping you from doing it. And that's okay, that's part of being a human. It's our ego. Our ego likes to keep us comfortable, which brings us to step number 2. Get out of your comfort zone. Our ego mind likes to listen to fear. And that fear keeps us where it's safe, keeps us where it's comfortable. Because we like the familiar. The familiar keeps us alive sometimes. But there are points in your life where you have to let go. And you have to make that leap. It's going to be uncomfortable. Know that it's going to be uncomfortable going forward. You're going to have times of extreme anxiety. And in those moments where you have extreme anxiety, if that comes up for you, I want you to close your eyes and really focus on the life that you see yourself having and what that feels like. Those good feelings that come up for you every time you think of this life that you know is out there for you. And that brings me to my 3rd point. It's never as scary as it seems. Even though we will have these moments of fear and anxiety and maybe even depression because, oh no, what did I do? It will only be that way for a moment. It will pass. Maybe it'll be a whole day of anxiety. I don't know. But it will pass. You just have to pick yourself back up, remind yourself why you're doing it, and keep going ahead. Because at the end of the day, when you get to your final destination, looking back, a lot of the fears that you had, you'll realize never happened. Because that was your mind trying to talk you out of it. So know the difference between that egoic mind and coming to alignment with your soul, with your true purpose. Those things that light you up, that's your soul. That's God working through your soul. 4th, trust the divine. When we put our faith in the divine, when we say, I can't do this alone, I need your help, I have faith that you will be there. Let me tell you something about God. God does not want to see you suffer. God wants to see you succeed. He is not here looking down on heaven, testing us, pushing us to our limits. That is not God. God is here to love and support us. And sometimes we just need to ask. And that might be difficult, especially if you've never done that. Even if you have done it, it's still difficult. Because every time we take a leap of faith, we are saying, this has not been done yet. I have not done this yet. So I have not proven to my mind that I am capable of this. But I know you can look back on your life and think of times where you have surprised yourself, where you knew God was involved and helped you get to where you wanted to go. Which brings me to number 5, having radical faith. One time I was coming to California from Oregon. I knew like everything that I was there in Oregon to do, I had done it all. I was ready to move on. And there was chaos. Like the things that were working before, they just weren't working anymore. And I was looking for a place to move to in California. I could not find anything. Every house I found had, 50 applicants in. It was really difficult to find a house. So one day I was on my way to Goodwill, dropping some stuff off, and I just screamed. I screamed at God. I was so frustrated. I was so angry. I was angry at God, but I was really angry at myself for not having figured this out yet. And I was just like, God, where are you? And I'm talking in a normal voice right now, but that day I was screaming. Where are you? Why can't I figure this out? Help me. I need your help. Where are you? Where are you? And I cried all that night. I just purged all of those fears out of me. Because the next morning when I woke up with a very raspy voice and puffy eyes, but I also woke up with a peace. And it was like the peace of God just was surrounding me. And I knew that if I got in my car and I left, God would lead me somewhere. So that's exactly what I did. I got in my car, I packed up our stuff, and we headed to California. I had my son, he was probably 5 or 6 at the time. And which makes it even more scary because I had a responsibility to also have a home for him. And as I was driving down to California, one of my friends called me or texted me, and she's like, "Hey, I saw you were coming to California. I rented an Airbnb in this town if you'd like to come hang out." And the town was Sonora, California, and it's this cute mountain town, and it's such a refreshing place for me to go because I grew up in the dusty, hot Central Valley, and going to Sonora was just very refreshing. And my mom would take me there for special occasions, so it was really a special place. So I made it to Sonora. One evening while staying there, I took a walk, and I was just praying on this walk and trying to figure out like how many more applications I could put in without without wasting all my money on application fees and going through all these things in my head. And I came across a group of cats, like feral cats. I was walking towards the downtown, and I started following one of the cats who kind of was like checking me out and kept looking at me, and I was like, okay, maybe this cat's gonna lead me somewhere. I was going through a witchy phase at the time, so it seemed kind of like something a witch would do. So I was following this cat, and I came across this beautiful garden. I mean, beautiful garden. It was somebody's like front lawn, or it was maybe part of the city. I couldn't really tell. It was so lush. There was herbs, vegetables, flowers. I mean, it was just full of everything. And I was walking along, the cat kind of went around the corner, so I followed it. And I was looking at this garden, and all of a sudden, the garden turned into a home. And in the window of this home was a for rent sign with a phone number. And I backed up and I looked at it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was a beautiful Victorian house. And I was just like, there's no way I could afford this. There's no way. Is there a way? Maybe there's a way. So I called, and I met with the owner, and she was amazing. And she was walking me through the house, and my jaw just literally dropped when I walked into this house. And then it dropped again when I found out that it was within my price range, which was not very much, especially for a home in California. And I just could not believe it. And I'm in the living room of this house with her as she's showing me, and I just looked at her and I was like, oh, this is God. Can I please have this house? Like, I just feel like God has led me here. And as soon as I said that, I was like, oh no, she's going to think I'm a religious freak now. And but she didn't. She smiled and she said, oh, that's beautiful. And she ended up renting it out to me. And it was one of the most beautiful homes I've ever had. And it was perfect for my son and I. It really helped support me. That was at the beginning of I would say the deepest part of my spiritual awakening was in that house. And a lot of interesting things happened to me there, which is stories for another time. But my point is, I went into this with radical faith because it was scary. And I had to believe that the divine was there leading me. And it turns out that, of course, God was there every step of the way. So whatever your leap of faith is, I want you to remember these things going forward. I know you can do it. I know I can do them again. And I know you can do them going forward. I hope this helped. I hope it resonated with you. Thank you for joining me. Wherever you're at, peace be with you.